Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. How are you? What an amazing Tuesday. Give me the details. Whew. So good in every way. Boy, oh boy. Albert says good afternoon. Sharon Baldwin says back again. Hello, everyone. Hello, Donnie and Sharon. Trust you're doing splendid. Man, oh man, what a good day out there in the markets. So this is the SPY, and what Mr. Squiggles drew yesterday was by the bounce. It was either red, the red line or the blue line, and it was the red line today. Absolutely sensational, gorgeous bounce. Timer said, "How did you do today, Jeremy?" Swing trades did phenomenal. I hit 2 R's on our Nike swing trades. That was perfect. And other than that, I'm sure David will be in here a little bit later. We'll talk more about it, but he had his best day that he had in his entire trading career today. So David is from LA and came down to trade with me and work with me for the next few days. So he absolutely dominated it today. Very proud of him. Took every trade that he was supposed to at the right time, made good money, went 3 for 3, straight up rampage mode. Gorgeous.
Tell them the whole lesson. Share that. I want you to share that lesson, okay? Of keeping me showing me that I'm not ready for the big boy stock and making me stay in it for 90 minutes. When I could have bailed out for profit several times.
Yes, we'll talk about that tomorrow. So I'll be interviewing David tomorrow and talking about his journey. It's going to be exceptionally exciting. So you guys are going to hear all about that. But yeah, let's talk about the markets. I mean, we bounced perfectly right on cue. And yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean, this was a perfect bounce, right? We came into the 10 EMA and bounced off of it. That was it. So the 10 EMA, oh, nice. Really good pullback. And, here's the 5-minute chart on the spiders. And as you all know, I love trading the SPY and the E-minis as well. And this was the very, very first opening candle. I'm sure Scott McKay played this one bullish today. Just a gorgeous close above pre-market high. Fantastic bullish candle. 10 EMA acting as a support. There's your dip buying location, and boom, off to the races. Wonderful trade on SPY. Good little bounce on Apple. And yeah, worked out well. So again, just a nice little trend. Gorgeous move, gorgeous bounce, buy the dip in full effect, and it worked out gorgeously today on the SPY. Here's the Qs, and the NASDAQ was up 0.5%, so it also gapped down and just ran like Forrest Gump all day long. So Scott McKay is likely going to get called away at his 185 covered call for next Friday. He might even get called away early. So let me know if you do get called away, Scott. I don't know if you bought those calls back or not. Probably not. Most likely just going to get assigned and sell your shares and lock in profit. Probably won't be too sad about that. So the Qs are rocking and rolling. Here's the Dow Jones ETF, the DIA, looking good. Now, what is a big takeaway is today was pretty much a perfect shaved bottom candle on the Dow. So remember, you guys all know I'm bullish. I'm predominantly bullish. My approach is bullish anyway. And sure, we could go down from here. Not a problem at all. It would have to happen tomorrow. And we would have to gap up tomorrow nicely and then just start going lower. So we'd have to gap up, and then we're going to have to close below the low of today's candle for me to be worried about any kind of bear move for July. So if I come back over here, here's the IWM. Right, decently strong candle, but if we just come back over to the SPY, Again, we could go lower. I'm not really worried about that, but if we do, we need to close below the low of today's candle. If we break the high of today's candle, we're just going to keep on going, and the trend will just continue, and that'll be that. So that was the SPY. That's the broader markets. Here's my trade on the E-minis. I played this one really, really well last night, so I was kind of excited about it. It cracked me up because as soon as David came into my to the house today to trade, he was like, "I bet you shorted the E-minis last night, didn't you?" I was like, "Dude, how did you know?" And so here's the futures channel. So we'll scroll up again. Great job out there. The futures traders crushed it today. Richard made 4 R's. Our girl Queen Arabia giving 11.5 R's over the last 24 hours, just absolutely going pure domination. Ricky Kadan, you guys all know Ricky making 3 R's on the futures. John Salvio getting 2 R's, so that was so good. But this was the short trade. So last night before we started bouncing, I was looking at a short move, and we traded down into this target, and then we eventually got a little bit of a bounce. And that's why I was looking at going long down there, or exiting the bearish trade at least, because that's where the 10 EMA was. So if we compare notes, this was, give me 1 second. This is where we just looked at right here. When this candle made a new low, one of the things I do not do in futures is take a breakout, especially below a massive lower shadow, because that is a perfect trap. So here's the lower shadow right here. I'll point to it with a blue arrow. That's the lower shadow. The arrow that I'm pointing to with the red, that's where we're looking at on the chart. And my limit sell was here at the purple line that I'm about to draw with my left hand. So that was my limit sell, and my stop loss was right up there. And just a perfect breakdown. Nice little trap, retest of previous support, rollover. Got lucky. I want to make sure everyone knows that. That's very rarely perfectly that good, but that was a nice trade. You can kind of see, I mean, really once it broke down and I got out at my target, which was around this candle, it made one more move. So if anyone had to guess, what wave count is this right here in the purple line? What's that wave count? Everyone doing a wave count. What do you got? What do you think? Scott McKay says pro. Trying to be like you, man. Arabia says 3. Yep, that is definitely a wave 3. Absolutely. And you can tell really just based on this candle. That's all you need to know. But until then, I mean, you can go back and do any kind of wave count you want, but this is certainly a wave 3. Just a really good trend, good candles, good volume. So what that means is if you can recognize a 3, then you know that there's going to be a 4, you know there's going to be a 5. Here's the 4, here's the 5. 5 makes a new low, right? And once that 5 comes in, it makes that new low, you can start looking for that reversal, and lo and behold, the double bottom. Boom, boom. Double bottom, close above the neckline, and ever since 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central, there was no way in the world anyone should have been bearish on the E-minis. So that was pretty much, that was my thoughts kind of coming into the market. And I did have one of my coaching students who asked me, hey, you know, what direction should you play the E-minis today? And my answer was bullish. Bullish for sure. And again, just a great bounce. So anyway, good stuff on the E-minis, good stuff in the market, good stuff overall. That's in the past, though. What are we going to do about the future? Let's chat about it. I'm going to get, we're going to go look at these stocks. There's going to be a lot of learning lessons, a lot of fantastic takeaways today. Let's dive in. First on the list is HUYA. And I'm pulling this one up because this was a swing trade that a few traders are in. I never got triggered into this one, unfortunately. But for those who did, congratulations. And the low of today was 24.45. Mr. Blake Anderson had to stop at 24.40. So feel free to leave your stop there and just let that one continue to do its thing. So stop loss for 3/4 of the position. That's a trailing stop at this point, so there's no way to lose on that swing trade. HUYA. So the next stop really is going to be 27.75. So feel free to have that stop at 24.40 on HUIA. Keep riding that one higher. Looks really good. Next on the list that I got to talk about is Nike, ticker symbol NKE. Nike was the big win for me for today and David. So both David and myself played Nike today. I played it from a swing trade and we hit the target. I got lucky with this target. The high of the day on the option trade was 485. Everyone got filled though, thankfully. And it did make a little bit of a higher high and a higher low. And we also day traded this one. I'll show two day trades that we looked at on Nike. One that we did play, and the other one we only looked at because it was the afternoon and we were out of day trades per our plan. So Nike had a really strong bullish day yesterday. So if you're just looking for a momentum play, you're looking for a bullish momentum to continue, then some bears to come in and take some profit. So that's the weekly options newsletter trade from last week. That was last Tuesday. We set it up and it triggered on both Wednesday and or Thursday of last week. Both of those would have triggered. And yes. So out fully on Nike, which is a great 2.2R trade. That was really kind of nice and toasty. So we're fully out of Nike. And we have another one set up that's going to be sent out in about 2 hours for the weekly options newsletter for this week. But yeah, we are out on Nike. And again, I'll zoom in on a 5-minute chart and a 2-minute chart and just kind of show each and every one of you what we were looking at on that one today. Just more or less as a continuation trade. I'll do my best not to go long today, although there's a chance that we probably will. We got a lot to talk about. Okay, so Nike, done. Beautiful. Beautimous. Okay, fantastic. And then here was the 5-minute chart on Nike. And, okay, so here's the play that David did take, bullish. So you have a trade up, makes new highs on the day. It trades down into the previous resistance, and this was the S curve. And type in a 3 if you guys see where David played Nike. Pretty obvious candle pattern down there to go long on Nike. And we exited the final position somewhere up here for a decent gain. And then we looked at a short because Nike started making lower lows and lower highs right here, broke down, came in, retested again, and our short was here with a stop there, and target was at the low of the day. That would have been 1R and some change. Didn't take that, only because we were out of day trades, but it would have been a nice little trade. David's plan is just to focus on a few stocks every day, focus on those, trade those, and then move on to the next day. So that was a really nice trade on Nike. Good swing trade, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure Angela, who plays Nike all the time with shares, just absolutely murdered that one. Next on the list, we have Travelers, TRV. And Travelers did not go lower. It actually has made a new high, and the trend does look like it's going to continue on Travelers for a while. Now, again, the time I was making fun of my buddy Sean for buying calls on Travelers, he was buying up here. And I was making fun of him, pretty much saying, why the heck are you buying so high? Could have bought somewhere over here just for a little bit cheaper. Right, same exact option, could have saved about 20% on the actual cost of the calls because he's got a leap for January. But Travelers trend does remain bullish. Doesn't appear that we're going to have a bearish trade on that one. So we'll do absolutely nothing. Just wait, let it see if it can grind and slowly creep higher, and that'll be pretty much it on Travelers. Great looking trend though. Here's the weekly chart. And again, the weekly chart, we did. What was really, really fantastic on this one is we retested the previous all-time high. We retested with a high wave candle, and we've already closed above the high of the high wave candle on Travelers. So it'll be my thought process that bad boy is just going to continue. Could be a good trend stock to just follow and look for some day trades. All right, next on the list is CRMD. CRMD. And this was up 2.6%. This is the weekly chart. So we've had a reverse split recently, it seems. Is this reverse split? 1 for 5. Nope, actually a regular split. Interesting. So CRMD, we have a high wave candle. We have some good volume coming in. And to me, looks like a 1-2, some kind of wave 3, possible wave 4, and a wave 5. So what I will do is we will find out if we continue higher and maybe play a breakout, but I'd rather buy a pullback on this one. However, I'm game to go in either direction. So what I'm going to do is put that on the list for tomorrow, tomorrow being Energy Wednesday. And at that point in time, kind of determined. So this is just me creating a plan for what I would want. Yeah, I'd love to buy it down here. This would be a great spot to buy this trade, right at 849. Now, if it doesn't give us that opportunity, we have to break out higher. We can take a breakout, that's fine. I'd really like to buy to 849 with a stop at 749, $1 stop loss, that could work. On CRND, it's a strong maybe. Depending on today's candle, we will see. We'll come back to it tomorrow and we'll analyze it from there. All right, team, we're moving. We are cooking with sesame oil. Applied Materials, AMAT, is up 1.2%. Here's the weekly chart, and the trend is going well. Here is the weekly moving averages. So again, this is the weekly 100 and 200. We're kind of trading sideways. Moving averages on the weekly chart, they're all bullish as of now. So my buddy David put AMAT on a watch list for a bullish swing trade, day trade type of watch list today, in fact. And it looks adequate. You have a good volume increase today. You closed and engulfed yesterday's candle, and we do have a little bit of an upper shadow. My guess is that the market will not make it super easy tomorrow. I think we're going to gap up and then fade. Because I don't know about you all, but I felt so bullish today. Like my whole bones was just vibrating bullish all day long. I could just feel the bullish sentiment all day long. And I think that other people are going to feel that way too. Because if we just gapped up and continued running tomorrow, that would almost be too ridiculous. Arabia said, plus there's some FOMC tomorrow too. And Mike says that's a red flag if I'm feeling super bullish, which sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. So again, tomorrow I'll be a little cautious if we gap up tomorrow morning. I'll be looking for maybe some fades. In fact, let's just go ahead and write that down on AMAT. If we gap up, maybe fade or run, question mark. Really going to depend on the move. I'd prefer a gap down and a trade higher. I would prefer a gap down and trade lower or higher. I would just like a gap down tomorrow. That'd be nice. I think a lot of people would be trapped tomorrow if we gap down strongly on whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Wednesday morning, AMAT. But yeah, Applied Materials. Nice looking stuff. Okay. Next on the list is Carbon Black, CBLK. Carbon Black is putting in some work right now. That's a really good close. You had an indecision high wave candle yesterday. Here's the weekly chart, and that's a really nice trend. So the weekly chart, we're running into the 50 EMA, which we can see has been a problem in the past. It has been an issue. So what I'm going to do based on Carbon Black is kind of draw what I would like it to do. Break above there, retest it, and then bounce. Give me one more shot. Carbon Black is going to go higher. The question is simply when. I like this move a lot. Gorgeous double bottom. Insane retest. Very pretty chart. Yeah, I would just like 1 or 2 more days of bullish movement, and then we will see if we can catch a pullback on this one. I'll go ahead and plan it and come back and look at this one on Thursday and see if we can swing trade this one bullish, or maybe even potentially even do a longer term trade on it. All things are possible. We can do anything we want, ladies and gentlemen. So carbon black on the list. Got it. All right, next is BYND, Beyond Meat. Why in the world am I looking at Beyond Meat? Because that trend is still bullish. And I don't think it's done yet. What wave do you think we're in? If I had to guess, I think we're probably in some sort of wave 4. Here's your 1. I don't even know where 2 is, but let's say this is 2. All this is 3, and then all this is 4. I think we have one more higher move to go. It's a possibility. Clive says we could also be in a 1-2. That's also very possible for a longer term move. JL says, I'm in calls and the implied volatility is killing me, even though the direction is right. Yep. Very expensive, incredible high volatility stock. I will put your comment, JL, from all panelists and attendees, so that people don't think I have an imaginary friend named JL Derulo. So yeah, Beyond Meat, I think you're right, man. I do think the trend is bullish and it's expensive. That's why I was mentioning, I think on this one, probably the best way to play it is just buy it with a few amount of shares. 1 to 20. 1 share, 25 shares, nothing too crazy, nothing too insane. Just a small position in case this one goes higher. I'm going to put this one on my list for tomorrow morning, because if Beyond Meat gaps up and runs, incredible. Absolutely blisteringly beautiful bullish day in the market today. So if we gap up and run, JL says he's waiting for the pop to sell. So again, the moving averages look nice. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to see what it does. I mean, this is a bearish candle today. So if we gap up above the high on Beyond Meat tomorrow, we're going to run. I'm thinking. I mean, that's what I'm going to look for. Maybe I'm wrong. All kinds of things can happen. There's your lower highs. I don't know. The higher lows are obvious. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. But keep your eyes on it bullish, unless it has a gap that tells you something different. And again, we don't have to be in tons of shares on Beyond Meat. It could just be in like 10 shares. Worst case scenario, Beyond Meat goes to 0 and you lose $1,600, which isn't going to happen. You know, so if you buy 10 shares, it trades back into 80, and you buy 10 more, and then it trades back up to 180, then you're going to be nice and profitable on that trade. So we'll see what it does. Right now, the trend looks delicious. Next on the list, Square. Now, I had a lot of people ask me about this one. I was looking at this one for a weekly options newsletter trade today. That's what this setup was, but I realized earnings are just right around the corner, so I'm going to wait. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the perfect gap on Square. Perfect in every way. I'm going to do another, I'm going to put Square in my review for tomorrow, Wednesday's review, because I had a lot of people asking, why is this a perfect gap? Who wants to tell me why this is a perfect gap on Square? In every way possible. This is what I refer to as a $3,000 gap. So perfect. Clive said because it worked. Yeah, that's true. Albert says because it's above the previous candle wick. That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much it. Let's go back one day before today's candle even occurred, and let's just go through all of the stats that make a really good gap a good gap. And this is a phenomenal gap. Number one, did yesterday make a lower low and lower high? This is a very important takeaway, folks, so make sure to tune in. Did yesterday make a lower low and lower high? On Square. We got one answer, we got two answers, we got three answers. The answer is yes. Okay, what does that mean? Why is that relevant? Because that means that a lot of people shorted. That's how lower lows and lower highs are made. Okay. Number 2, did the volume increase on Square yesterday? All right, previous day's candle, did the volume increase yesterday? Yes, it did. Number 3, is the trend already bullish? Meaning it's not going to take that much more for people to get excited and drive this thing higher. Yes, trend is already bullish. Number 4, is it gapping out of the S-curve pattern? What do you all think? Yes, it is. All right, there's the S-curve right here. That's it. So we get yes, yes, yes. These are 4 yeses. If I answer all 4 of these questions with a yes, I'm going to take that trade all day, every day. No question. Now, that's not even the best part. It becomes even easier. Number 5, all right? Is it gapping above previous resistance? The answer is yes. It's gapping above yesterday's high. Perfect. That's all you need. It's gapping above yesterday's high. Now, if it opens above here, cool. Equally great. Equally an amazing trade, but it doesn't have to open right there. I mean, it just opened perfectly above yesterday's high. It got above this high in about 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes, if you were worried about Square not breaking that resistance, if you were worried about it not breaking that resistance, we didn't have to worry 190 seconds into market open. Something to remember, if the trend is bullish, it's supposed to make what? Who wants to finish this for me? Because this is what holds so many people back from taking good trades. It's supposed to make higher highs. Higher highs. It's supposed to. So don't wait for the bullish trends to get bullish to make a new high before you get in, right? It doesn't have to do that. You don't have to wait for a brand new high before you get in if the trend is already bullish. If the trend's already bullish, you don't have to wait for a new high before you get in. Just get in, and then it's supposed to make new highs, so then you sell into strength. All right, so here's the 3-minute chart on Square. And the 3-minute chart, I mean, the very first 3-minute candle, hello, right? Your entry could have been above the pre-market high, stop loss right there. Look at the high wave candle. You guys all know it's my favorite candle right there. High wave candle, your stop is below that candle, entry is above the pre-market high. You already knew it was gapping, so it's like, okay, maybe it does. Now, if it doesn't do that, the first 3-minute candle, I mean, nice little upper shadow, entry could have been there, stop could have been there. And if you don't want to play that, then 8 candles into the market, you get a Marubozu candle that fully engulfs the previous candle. Buy the dip with that candle, stop below that candle. However you want to play Square, one of those 2 things. If you didn't play it there, you probably would have missed it, most likely. You could have bought it off of here, but it was a little bit of a chase. So great gap. 2-minute chart, 1-minute chart, all are fantastic. So yeah, Square, just a really great gap. Everything is perfect, and we most likely will see higher highs on Square. Now, if it gaps above the high of today, it can easily continue, my friend. Do not think Square is oversold, because it's not even close. Just getting started. Okay? I would prefer this to pull back. That would be my preference. Look at this pennant pattern on Square. So a pullback on Square would be great. All right, so if it opens here and trades lower and we dip, great. If it gaps up and runs, fantastic. Watch Square over the next few days. I know a lot. Type in a 4 if you have some Square positions. I better see a lot of 4s. Graham says, what target would you have? If you're in Square right now, 100. If you're in Square, 100. You all know this is one of my favorite stocks long term. So Scott says time frame of when it gets to 100 before the end of the year. That's all I got. JL said, where would you get in as far as a swing trade? It is on your chart, my man. Right in front of you. Mr. Squiggles. Buy a pullback, but if it gaps above the high of today, just get, I mean, get in.
It's got no resistance.
It's got no resistance. There's nothing above it.
Nothing.
Buy some type of pullback, or if it gaps up and breaks and runs, this thing's going to run for a bit. Now, again, I'm taking this as a longer term trade, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in Square longer term, right? So if you're going to play Square as a bill paying trade, wonderful. Okay. If you want to play it as a quick in and out, great. But if you're going to do a longer term investment, just give it some time. It can easily chop around, do its thing, bounce around. And if it pulls back tomorrow, the next 2 or 3 days, we'll be getting in on Square. So that's how I'm going to look to play it officially, because I can't set up a trade otherwise. Something like that by something like this. And, you know, I got to wait 18 hours before I set up an official swing trade for you beautiful folks. But we'll see what Square can do. If it pulls back, buy the dip. Easy. The stuff is simple, ladies and gentlemen. Very simple. Next on the list is EA. EA. Electronic Arts. Yeah, that looks nice. So EA had a little bit of a lower shadow today. JL has a put sale on this one. And that means I'm going to make this 84 cents. Okay, 84. And that's going to give us a $4 risk on Electronic Arts. Earnings are in a few days. So we'd have to be in and out of this trade in realistically 2 weeks. So what's today's candle? 7/9/2019 EA. We're going to go with 93.84 by 89.34. 89.84. 84. And you can do this with shares or options, realistically. Based on a retest gap, it is open because it's not triggered yet, and we'll throw that in right there, and we'll come over here, and we'll pop that in. Pop it in, pop it in. New official swing trade on EA. Mike says he did not expect that candle. What a pullback. Yeah, beautiful pullback, really nice lower shadow. Love that candle. And realistically, the more it hangs out, the lower I'm going to buy EA. So we're going to come back and look at this tomorrow, and if it still looks good, I might even put my entry here at 92.80 and then lower my entry to 89.80 with a stop loss. So EA looks really nice, and I dig it. Next on the list is TAL, Education Group. TAL. Few traders in on this one. I have no position at all on this stock, but man, talk about just crank city. Look at this trend. Since 2015, it has been up, 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 by the dips. Amazing amount of money to be made on this thing. No position in it ever. Can't be in everything. But I do like this high wave, inside day candle, bullish off of the 100. Earnings is around the corner. You're going to hear me start saying that a lot because earnings season is right around the corner anyway. That's great. But with this inside candle, a little bit of an upper shadow, if we gap above or close above the highs, these last two candles on TAL, looks great, I think. That's all I can have on this one. Any questions on this one? On this particular stock? All right. Cool deal. Next on the list, we have Amazon. Amazon today was such a delicious move. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. There's so many ways you could have played Amazon today. Now, the only way to have played Amazon today is you would have had to been tracking this one. You have to be watching it frequently. The trend was bullish. I was really hoping that we would dip by at some point bigger than we have, but we didn't. Ever since we gapped up on the 1st of July, that was it. I told you guys how strong this gap was on a monthly chart, so I hope you all believe me. Amazon just running. We did gap down this morning, very small, and then look at this 5-minute chart. This blue line that I have on this chart was the high, that previous resistance. So in the very first 5-minute candle, you get a high wave candle, and then the second candle closes above all of that resistance. Closes above yesterday's high, closes above the previous highs. Then you get a really nice S curve. So I'm not bullish yet, I'm not bullish yet, I'm not bullish yet, I'm bullish. Full bull on Amazon. That candle comes in right there. Remember, you might think you have to have $1 million trading account to trade Amazon, but you don't. You could have a $50 R and still trade Amazon. You might buy 2 or 3 shares, but you can do it with any size account. Mike says, I distinctly recall similar conversation in the not too distant past. Mike says, I did not expect that candle. What a pullback. Can we be bearish after looking at this chart? Nope, not really. So again, it's a really nice gap down. Huge volume came in. And I'm not saying you had to be bullish immediately, but at 8:55 on the 5-minute chart, there's no way to be bearish. I mean, it closes above all resistance. The trend is already bullish. Buy whatever dip you want, be in bullish however you want to be in bullish, but that was a great trend. Moving averages were in your favor. This was just a very, very nice continuation trend. If you go back to Mentorship Monday's videos, back from June, we discussed in-depth continuation trades. And today on Amazon was picture perfect, straight up textbook continuation. So now all of that stuff that I'm talking about, Amazon will be making new highs. I'm going to draw this line. I'm going to bring it up here. So very similar to what I was talking about. This is a bullish trend. You can't let this resistance keep you out of a trade. If Amazon goes higher, perfect. It will go higher. It's just a matter of time. Like I said, even Brad Reed is bullish on Amazon. And I've been talking about that over the last few days. Good trend. This is a strong resistance. Buy the dip. Amazon looks nice. Okay, next on the list is Pinterest. Pinterest is doing jack squat right now. Absolute jack squat, which is wonderful, I guess, if you're in some shares with a covered call. So a few of you are in shares of Pinterest, and that's great. Pinterest is just trading sideways, and it is in a little bit of a triangle. I'm trying to draw it with an equal line. It's not amazing, but something like this, it's a little tough, but Pinterest can keep trading sideways, but best be prepared when that bad boy breaks out right there. Whew. Yeah, Pinterest breaks out of that. That should be a nice move. Ashley has a covered call expiring next Friday, and it will expire worthless most likely, and then she'll do another one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, next on the list is U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel actually looks moderately bullish. I was kind of considering this one as a weekly options newsletter candidate because of the fact that it came right below this very, very obvious pivot and then threw in a little bit of a hammer candle with a little bit of an upper shadow. I know a few people out there like playing U.S. Steel, so you could be looking at a buy spot down here. Literally, you're just looking for a buy the dip. I mean, that's all that you could possibly do on U.S. Steel is a buy the dip type of play. This one could be a fun day trade tomorrow. David has it on his list. And we talked about this one this afternoon. The way we talked about U.S. Steel when we were doing some afternoon trade reviews was once this candle broke out right there, you can determine and visually identify that it was above the previous high of the day. So this pink line was the previous high of the day. It was above all moving averages on these time frames, right? Above all moving averages on the time frames. So you're buying the dip. Our entry was 1353 with the stop down here, about 1337, something like that. Breakout, retest, nice little grind higher, fantastic S curve. Again, today was just a day party with the bulls. This was like just Michael Jordan in his prime, the market was today. Bulls all around. U.S. Steel made a good move, and it very well could continue higher tomorrow, especially after a small dip. You know, if it gapped up and, again, dips down and bounces, that's what I expect tomorrow. I really do think if we gap up, we're going to get some selling. I mean, if we gap up and just keep running, awesome. I'll be a little bit blown away, but sure, I'll go with it. I ain't scared. On just the broader markets, it just seemed like today, in my opinion, was so flipping bullish all day. But those higher wicks, man, they could cause some good moves. ISRG, I have no position on this one. It is expensive. But here's the weekly chart, and you have an inside week thus far, earnings around the corner. So Intuitive Surgical is a pricey little stock that is volatile, traded sideways from 2012 to 2016, and then rampage mode. Just bull, 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 bull. This is the monthly candle so far. And in my opinion, this monthly candle, I mean, if we take out the high of this monthly, we're just going to keep on going. So with earnings right around the corner on this particular stock, if it gaps down into here, buy the dip. If it gaps up, however, it's going to fly. And most likely make new all-time highs before some newbies hop on, and then the pros sell to the noobs. We will see, of course. You have a very nice high wave little candle. You have a little bit of a shaved top, which is hard on a $500 stock. That's not easy. So if one was going bullish, I mean, entry above there, stop below there. If it pops up, let it ride. I could easily get behind that move on ISRG if you're in it. But again, earnings are like a week and a half away. So let's just wait until earnings are over on ISRG. We will look at it next week. I'll put it on the list let's look at it on Tuesday of next week. We'll see what it does. Chief says options are probably expensive. Yes, they are. Kodak, believe it or not, is making some moves. So I'm looking at Kodak. I'm not in, but I do have two traders who are. And let me message one of those traders right now. Congrats on Kodak. So this gentleman was emailing me, asking me. So he asked me on this day specifically, right there, is that the S curve on Kodak? And my reply was, yeah, it is. Don't know if it's going to bounce or not, but that's where it should bounce. All right, look at that. Previous all-time high, boom, breakout, bang. And you all might remember that there are two types of retest. There's the quick retest, which is right there in the green. And here's the longer term retest, which is here in blue. You get a quick one, and you get one that took a little bit longer. Very nice retest, right to the 20. Kodak, if you're in bullish, just stay in bullish. I have no position on this one, but if you are in, hey, congratulations. You're doing pretty well on Kodak. CRSP, CRISPR Therapeutics. Whew. So what's funny to me is I love this trade. This chart looks beautiful. I'm just scared to be in on CRISPR. Because I'm like, what if it gaps down 30% overnight? I mean, is that possible? It's like, I think so. Has it done it before? Let me see if there's any probability of that happening. Not really. Not really. You've had a gap up, but you haven't had a massive gap down. Let me just look at the call options on CRSP and see if I can buy like a cheap absolute zero for August maybe. August, 45 calls. They're not that cheap. Wow, 70-cent spread on a $5 option. Brute Magoot. Well, if you're playing CRISPR, I would just buy the pullback tomorrow or the next day. I mean, really, me personally, I would leg into it two ways. If I was playing CRISPR, I don't think I will just because of the industry. If this chart is anything else, I'll play it. But here's what I would do. I would buy half of an R at 47.74. I'd buy the other half of an R at 45.55, and I'd put my stop loss right there at 42.77. That is how I would play CRISPR Therapeutics. Next on the list, ZYNE. This is another pharmaceutical company that does look like it's breaking out. And again, I just very rarely swing trade pharmaceuticals because who knows. This one appears that it could have bigger gaps, but it was over earnings. I'll grant you that. It wasn't just like a random gap down. It does look like you're breaking out of a potential lower trend line, which is good. Volume looks fantastic. The daily chart on ZYNE, you have a really nice retest gap right here. Personally, I think I would wait for a little bit of a pullback. You have a high wave inside day candle. So a quick little drop tomorrow, I would buy some into that drop. I would buy a little bit more at the 50 EMA and then just expect to bounce. And if it gaps up or breaks higher tomorrow, then just keep letting it rock and roll because the overall trend on that one, well, you know, looks really nice. All right, that's all I got on ZYNE. Let's go look at OC. What's OC doing? The OC. Owens Corning on the daily. Ooh, is actually pulling back. Look at this gap. So this is a good gap down. This is a very pretty gap. Right below the low of this hammer. You had a massive run up in early July. Gap down into the 10 EMA. Beautiful gap. 5-minute chart. Oh, I did not see this. Boy, oh boy. If anybody wants to back trade, put OC on your list and back trade that one because that is splendid. Eyes closed. Blind moose carrying a bunch of possums in a backpack, shooting other moose with paintball guns. Could have taken that trade. Okay. Well, I didn't play it, but that is a great gap down. So what are we going to do now? Well, I kind of think this is a good pullback to buy. This is a previous resistance at 55.52, and that's a nice spot. This looks like a longer-term dividend type of play anyway, so I'd probably buy a little bit at 55.52. I'd buy a little bit more at 53.87, and then I would buy a lot more at 52.72 if you're looking at playing OC. Trend looks nice. Long-term, multi-bottom, breakout, neckline retest, volume is good, thumbs up all around from a long-term trend on this one. I wouldn't even use stops. I would use protective puts. This stock is about 50% lower than where it was at the height of 2018 and looks nice. Chief says he loves the blind moose. That's right. I'm a fan as well. FONR. Very, very light volume on this one. I can see why you would be interested. You had a massive volume spike on June 28th. So my thought on this, since the volume is so abysmal, is I would just wait for a close. Wait for a close above the high or below the low of that voluminous candle. Once it closes above or below that candle, that most likely will be the short-term direction. Next on the list is your boy Facebook. Facebook, Rampage Jackson. Facebook just looking gorgeous. Has had numerous double bottoms. Very nice little trends. Buy the dip if you want on Facebook. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white candles in a row. It's made a new 52-week high, and earnings are around the corner. So yeah, most likely with 5 white candles in a row on a weekly chart and 5 white candles in a row on a daily chart, I'd look for something like this into earnings. And then if it gaps up on earnings, probably a favorable opportunity. Potentially. We'll see as time progresses, but yeah, Facebook, a matter of time before it makes new all-time highs. They are too big, too much money flowing into Facebook advertisements and Instagram advertisements. They've paid a lot of their fines. All of this analytica, data issues, we're above all that now. As far as the price action, we're above all of that price. We're above the terrible earnings that came out, quote unquote terrible, when they were making tons of money in July. We're above all that. Last earnings, right? The estimate was $1.61. They made 85 cents. This earnings was okay. This earnings, let's see, was okay. This earnings was okay. This earnings was great. So if the next earnings is solid, yeah, she's just going to surge. Facebook, if you're in, stay long. ANET, A-N-E-T, on the daily chart. If you bought some protective puts, congratulations for protecting yourself and keeping you able to sleep at night. ANET is looking nice. That is a bullish engulfing candle today on ANET. Chief says on the dailies, the last few candles called a rest after battle. On ANET, that is correct. Yep, it is a little bit of a rest after battle type of pattern. Really, for a perfect pattern, you'd want this candle to be black and this candle to be black. But you do have one candle that's black, and it's kind of a little bit of a stair-step pattern. So I'd call it more of a stair-step than a rest after battle, just because it's not really, all the candles on the inside aren't little small bearish candles. But overall, I do like this trend. These moving averages catch up. I think your put sale should be good to go, Chief. And if you bought the protective put, again, it helps you sleep a little bit at night, and it's probably going to expire worthless. And then hopefully you're going to win out on ANET. The weekly chart looks toasty. Whew. This is pretty much an inside candle. Volume is declining, and it is looking good. Okay. VERI, Veritone. Veritone. Time to see if we want to play Veritone. It has pulled back. It's been bouncing. I was hoping this candle, the wick, would be lower than these lows. 737 and 737. I hope it was going to trap some people. Because the weekly chart on Veritone looks pretty good. The volume was pretty nice at one point. I'll come back to this one Tuesday of next week, and I'll see if I like anything. Right now, I'm not in love. All right, Pivotal. This is a swing trade that we're in. And today, with as bullish as the market was, we actually did get back slowly over break even with some okay volume. So what that means is we can finally take our stop and we can move it on Pivotal, and we're going to take that stop and we're going to put it right here. So new stop loss on Pivotal is going to be 10.03. New stop loss on Pivotal, 10.03. And I'll go ahead and put the target, as it doesn't look like it's going to do anything gratuitously generous. I'll put the target here at 11.59, which is not quite an R. It'll be right at the 20 EMA. And I will say, though, we got to keep in mind, moving the stop does make the risk reward bigger, because now this is the risk and this is the reward. So now the risk reward actually is better on Pivotal now that we're going to move the stop. And it's a swing trade that we've been in for a bit. Not much has been happening with it. New stop loss. The good news is there's no chance we're going to lose a full R unless something crazy happens, which is possible, but we're not going to hold this over earnings. Okay, edit message. Moving stop on Pivotal swing trade. All right. So that's really it. A little bit of an update on that swing trade. Here is CrowdStrike, CRWD, CrowdStrike Holdings. And, oh, is earnings really on July 16th? Pooh berries. I don't know why, but I love something about this chart just speaks to me. It's hard for me to tell you exactly what it is, but it's just like, hey, bro, bet you want to go in. CRWD, CrowdStrike, earnings, July 18th. Yeah, that is right around the corner. How much can we make in 9 days? How much can we lose in 9 days? That's also a good question. I think we could snag that. That's an aggressive little trade. But I've been looking at this chart for the last 2 or 3 days, and I like it. High risk, high reward. This is one of those like, hey, if you want to go skiing with me, you just got to know that I'm going to be going down some black diamonds at some point. 69.42 by 60. Let's do 66.62. I'll just do 42. That's all. I mean, it's $3 of risk. So we won't make it that high risk anymore. All right. 3 cents, $3 of a stop. CrowdStrike. I've been looking and waiting on this trade for a bit. And again, we got out of Nike and we have reduced a lot of risk on some other swing trades. We won't be in this trade very long. I mean, if we lose on it, that's fine. I intend to lose on it. Most of the trades I get into, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to lose on this trade. This is a high risk, high reward trade based on a gap and go. It's open because it's not triggered yet. And we'll throw that right in there. New official swing trade. Mike says, rising triangle, bears cannot push it down. I do like that as well. You know, I like the kind of the double bottom, these lower shadows, this hammer candle. I like this shaved top, this little gap up, kind of a highway. I like this chart. Does not mean it's going to work, but I can say that I'll be totally cool to sell it if it hits up here somewhere. 73.19 will be the target on CrowdStrike. 73.19. Just an in and out, little trade, quick aggressive move. Albert says, not worried about the wick and volume in the previous candle. I'm not. All right. Next on the list, we have LK. And LK, this is Lose Corporation. That thing has just been an absolute tank. LK is in a triangle, boys and girls. Simple as that. Nice little triangle on LK. At some point, it'll pop out. Probably whenever Pinterest breaks, this will break. I don't think they have anything in common at all. But we'll come back and look at LK Monday of next week and see if it's broken out or not yet. Keep an eye out for a gap up. Oh man, tomorrow a gap at 1977. I'm gonna put that on my list just in case because I don't think that's gonna happen. But if it does, oh boy. TUFN. I was looking at this trade to see if I wanted to go bearish with a breakdown below yesterday's low, but it did not happen. In fact, we gapped up today. And the people who bought the breakout are getting rewarded on Toughen software. So this is a 5-minute chart. The volume is only adequately subpar for a day trade. So I don't think I'm going to play this for a day trade. For a swing trade, it could be okay. I really wanted to go bearish on something, have some kind of bearish exposure, but I guess I'm going to wait on this one. I'd prefer to buy a pullback on it. I really would. That would be my preference. I don't know if we're going to get it, but if you're in, TUFN, stay in. Expect a little bit of a dip. We will come back on TUFN and check it out on Thursday and see if we can catch a little quick in and out on that particular trade. Dropbox, DBX. Yep, looks like I don't have to make that one good to go. I mean, you have an inside candle, 25.52 by 23.82. So this one, the way I'll be setting up this in the broker is actually quite simple. I'll do a time contingency. If DBX is above 25.52 after 3:45 p.m. Eastern, then buy. That will be what the contingency will say in TOS. Very simple. So that will be an official swing trade on Dropbox. My order is going to be 25.52. It can buy higher than that. If it, you know, right at the close of market, if it's above that price, I'm in. And it will mess up the, you know, the amount of shares a little bit, but if anything, I'll just be buying higher. Oops, did not type that in. 25.52. 25.52. Shares, I think it's a good trade based on a gap and go. Open because it's not triggered yet. We'll throw that in right there. Come over here. New official swing trade. And Dropbox with the close above 25.52 could be nice. Chief says, didn't know you could do a time contingency. Yes, sir. Easily. I had that in a few of my videos on TOS, but it would look like this. 3 seconds. Okay. Pull this up over here. So it looked like this. So if this is DBX, you could come down here, buy custom OCO brackets, and then this little cogwheel right here, this little cogwheel, when it goes home, you can right click that cogwheel and this box comes up, and you can build whatever rules you want to in this box, man. Once you click that cogwheel in TOS, you can do anything you want. So I will submit the order. The order will submit, and it won't submit until after 3:45. And then I will say when Dropbox is also greater than, and I'll type in 25.52. That's how I can make sure that it's above my price by a certain entry. So you can build your time contingency right here, and you can cancel it and make a nice little time window right there. Yeah, man, that's how you can set up day trades in advance before they even happen. You can build a nice time window and a nice price window. It's epic. All kinds of cool stuff on it. And you can add studies, moving averages, indicators. List is endless on that one. Nice little chart. Nice stuff. So Dropbox, ready to go. 3D printing is going to run without me. I'm just going to miss 3D printing. As far as an official swing trade, if you want to get in it, I mean, just buy dips and just start accumulating down here. That's going to be would be my plan. Buy small dips and start accumulating. Buy dips, small shares, and start accumulating. That'll be the way to play 3D printing if you want to. By no means have to. It's not an expensive stock. It's a very volatile stock. Here's the monthly chart. And buying it down here, I mean, this is $9. Could it go back up to 18? Yes. That will be a 100% return on your investment. So buy 1,000 shares, spend $9 grand, trades up to 19, sell those 1,000 shares, take that money, buy some new windows for your house, whatever you're trying to do, whatever you want to do. Be nice. Anyway, 3D system. Looks pretty good. Weight Watchers. WW. Some pressure is a building on Weight Watchers. So a few people are keeping a real close eye on this one. Knowing Weight Watcher and this weekly chart, I'm going to see how it interacts with the 20 EMA on a weekly, because it interacted with it nicely in the past. And we already have some swing trade exposure out there. Can't be in everything. Again, a lot of these we've already reduced our risk, right? That's the thing. We've already reduced our risk on these trades, right? Pivotal, we've reduced our risk. Chewy, we've reduced our risk. I'm not in HUI at all. Lulu, we've reduced our risk. And Upwork, we've reduced our risk. We reduce our risk on all of these other than WWE. And that's good. So I do want to take this trade. I am planning it. We will look at it again on Thursday and just kind of see what it's doing at that time on Thursday. BMW was talking about it being bullish yesterday, potentially. I would like to have a short trade out there, and this one could be a short trade. It's surprising that we actually had a bearish candle out there, but it looks like we might get a bearish trade, which I don't mind adding a bearish risk to my portfolio just to have some sort of hedge out there. And this most likely will retest pretty fiercely. So this is going to be a massive stop. And it is I believe it's a dividend paying stock. Let me go check really quick. Dividends.com. Because if I short it, I want to make sure that I don't have to pay any dividends. www. All right, search. I think I search VMW, and it'll tell me. Should be that easy. VMware. No dividend. Okay. 169.19 by 175.56. So a bearish trade, huge stop for sure. This is a bearish trade. New official swing trade, which again, I mean, definitely could lose, but one would suspect that if everything else is going up and we win on that, then we're going to lose on VMware and maybe vice versa. 167.19. I don't think we're going to have this trade open a massively long period of time. 175.56, so it's going to be all across the board. Not a really big amount of shares at all. Very small. I think this is a great trade setup based on a retest gap open because it's not triggered yet, and we'll throw that in right there. Now, VMware, we'll come back to it on Thursday, and depending on how it moves on Thursday, I might try to short it even higher because it is making lower lows and lower highs. You want to sell it as high as possible, and right now I'd pretty much just be shorting at the 10 EMA, and that would be that support level, so I'd just like to see if I can get it higher, if able. Apple today, this is one that David and myself, or David just absolutely dominated, played it very well, hung in there strong. Scott McKay had a great put sale on Apple yesterday because apparently they make money. Gap down, and Apple could just dominate again tomorrow. A gap up above the high of today or break above the high of today, and Apple is just going to run again. Here's the 5-minute chart, and here's how David played Apple. Got him bullish here on the retest, not the breakout. Had a stop loss down there and sold right here for a small gain after holding through the retest. So that was good, right? Big move, held through all of this, and then it broke out, and he got out for a small gain. But it was a win. We did control the risk the whole time, and that was nice. Other than that, keep your eyes peeled on Apple. Nice resistance, and again, a close above, a gap above, a break above that. And I think Apple easily fills that gap and just keeps on keeping on. Good put sale on Apple, Scott. Netflix was the gap of the century today. This was such a cute, very cute little gap. Again, yesterday's candle, kind of all same thing with Square, except the volume did not increase. Other than that, and that's why I didn't have as good of a move today as Square. The volume did not increase from yesterday. But it gapped. It had a little bit of a run this morning. So if you played on a 3-minute or 5-minute, you could have caught some bullish momentum in here. Really wonderful opening, but it's just hanging out. Earnings right around the corner on Netflix. Got an iron Condor on Netflix. I'm hoping for a small gap or no gap or a gap down at this point. If it gaps up big, We'll just kind of have to see. If it opens on earnings right here, like 389, then I'll just kind of protect the Condor with some long calls or some shares or something. Just kind of keep an eye on it. But right now, Netflix is in surge mode, and it's coming out with some great content, some other good shows. And look at this double bottom on Netflix. Bang, 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 bang. So is that a resistance? Should it hold a gap above or close above that resistance, and it's going to be strong, but I think it's going to wait until earnings, which are very close to happening. Just a few left. We have Google, Trade Desk, and then Zoom. Google today had a really nice day. Here's Google, and Google, beautiful move. So if you want to play Google bullish, 1129.04 by 111169. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to move it up here, and I'm just going to have an alert for Google. If Google closes below 1094, I will get an alert on Google. Close below 1094 for my bull put spread. A few of you are not, most of you are not in this trade still, but I am. And this was one of the greatest holds of my career as far as the spread goes. So if we break above 1129.04 on Google, she's just going to keep on dominating. Google is very undersold right now relative to the rest of the market. And the 100 simple EMA is at 1103. I'm expecting Google to come up and fill this gap before the end of September. Earnings are a few weeks away, and that'll be an absolute blasty blast on Google. The Trade Desk. Trade Desk is doing what the Trade Desk does, which apparently is just go higher. Hashtag buy desks. What a good strategy that's been for, last 2 years. So Trade Desk, I mean, I'm not in at all. A lot of people sold some puts on the Trade Desk when it had a pullback in late June. You have an inside day candle on the Trade Desk today. So if it continues higher, boys and girls, just let it rock, especially if it gaps up, if it keeps moving. And Zoom, they're having some privacy glitches, some issues. Apparently, some peeping Toms can come into your webcam and look at whatever you want to look at through Zoom, although they've been able to do that forever, not just through Zoom. So that's why it's important to always cover up those webcams unless you want some people to peep in on you. Otherwise, a little bit of resistance at about 91.65. I believe it or not, have a zero position in Zoom. Although I do know a few people selling some puts on it. I don't have any position on Zoom right now, although I would like to. Just keep an eye on this one, because right now there's a lot of bearish news on Zoom. So if you do get a bull move or a good bull pop, Zoom can run higher. All right, folks, I know it was a long one today, but there was a lot to cover, and it was just an absolute splendid market, so I want to make sure I gave my value. Tomorrow is Energy Wednesday, and I'll be hitting up some hot yoga tomorrow morning. My boy, Scott McKay, knows all about that hot yoga action. Here's what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. PRPO, Restoration Hardware, Dropbox, Well, CGC, Cron, ACB, RLWK, Canadian Solar, CRMD, Square, EA, First Solar, BP, ExxonMobil, Schlumberger. Anything else for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen? Chief says, thanks for a great one. I want to look at iRobot. You got it, boss man. Done and done. All right, folks from around the world, you rock. And until next time, love life, and trade it. Bye.